Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Let's begin a step towards knowledge, a step that I call this talk is about, I name it Vape, philosophical vape. It's about experiencing, taking some vape and talking about philosophy, and one of the philosophy that I appreciate so much, that most like founded the academia, is one of the revolutionary classical philosophers Greek called Socrates, the man who died by the justice, the man who sacrificed the truth to attain liberation to truth. And by truth, in that epoch, he did the sacrifice, he done the sacrifice for the wellness of the liberation of what he thought would be the best fit for the generation get freedom of thought. And after him, his disciple Plato, that founded really the academia, inspired by the conversations with Socrates in the fourth secular before Christ. Plato, a man who has baptized, who received that name because he had big shoulders. Aristophanes. He was the creator of a philosophy that is critical and differentiates ideas, the intelligible world that is perfect. We can discern from ideas and not just judging others, making assumption by the sense, the meanings that we taking by the appearance that are illusory appearance. And he gives us some actualization even now with his famous myth of the cave. The cave is the space of the wonder world in one layer of the truth, and another layer for the metaphysical is the layer of liberation to the kingdom of heavens. So with Plato we have two layers: the layers of mind, the illusory making assumptions of and statements of thinking, the thoughts that are pure meanings. We make assumptions and sentenciations of what is the truth, but the truth is subjective. Truth is in the internal void of the mind that makes the fabric of thoughts, and those thoughts are not for sure real. They can become real by the realization of the science and intelligence, but not even thus they are really real. The real of the facts, thinking about ontology, is a infinity of critical grounding of the identity, personality, character, and even more. The thoughts, when silenciated, becomes pure consciousness, and with consciousness we can have access to morality and ethical thinking. With virtues we can achieve achieve some of the greatest realization of the world, that is to get free of mind, free of ego, maintaining the balance of the duality, and enjoying working for the best of the our lives, that is to be sustainable in one line, and to be creative in another line, to do not get in depression. The real is the observance of the critical positions of the conditions we are programmed, and that gets revealed page by page of the presence of the Creator, the Lord that commands us and gives us the blessings of the heaven. And when we think about the analogy of the cave, what are those thoughts, impressions, and interpretations that make sense, just sense, but they are not real? They are shadows in the wall in which the individual are imprisoned. Those interpretations are just semantically interpretations of what we think, what we overthink, what we double think when we have some psychopathology, when we have some excess of thoughts. But when we got concentration, when we got some realization about freedom of mind, that is pure illusory, not only the mind of the very first layer of the knowledge, but when we got anointed by God, we have the simple consecration for the real, and the real is unfathomable, like the Holy Ghost of God. When we have some thoughts by voice, we are going through passing for a phase that is not only prejudicial for the mind health itself, but for the understanding of the ideas and contrast, distinguish and distinct. First, the systemic of antithesis of the words, of the discourse of the words, and the second, the correlations of ideas the word has in the reproductions of school of thoughts. We have many things to face to be alive, many things to put in the contradictory defense of the magnetism and the resonance of the ideas. We are responsible to create a better world, a world of freedom, a world of expressions, a world in which we can set our goals to develop our intelligence and knowledge, to be mastering what we have been created for so long, and managing this knowledge to not only understand ourselves but to forgive ourselves first, and be renewed by the power and grace of God. So in God we are one with in itself, the self of the major individuality, that is the greatest presuppositions presupposition of liberation, liberation from the bad acts of the persuasion, socialist persuasion, in which lacks awareness and truth. From the very beginning of the utopian world, Marx has, Karl Marx has said that would be true, but it's not true. It's a utopian idea, an idea to be created to manipulate people, to attract people to the zone of comfort and very easily being manipulated. And the second, as like communism, is to destroy the heritage of the own country. And what we have for now is like communism are the shadows in the wall into the cave. The cave is the matrix, and the fire is the spirit. The spirit never ceases to be inflamed, to be on fire, and the shadows are our impressions of appearance of what is being projected in your mind. So it's about pure psychology, projections, a mechanism of defense of the mind, of our ego. And mind ego like is not too easily to explain, but I will explain for you to blow your mind, to know that we are in control of our destination, but it's a partial control because God, the deliverance of ourselves to God for an ideal, can be bigger and can be legitimated by fact that if we work in the positivist world, we can master our wishes and our feelings to be who we deserve to become more wise, become more confident, become more out of our mind, a state in which it's can be chronicle or just a phase or just a passage that the mind, the imaginary are not the truth, is not the truth, the imaginary projection of the mind is not the truth, it's called fantasy when we create a matrix of concepts maybe or ideas maybe, but in the mind that we create, we project those concepts, those significance are just merely shadows of the underworld, the world of the internal self, the pure subjectivity, and no one knows what is passing through your internal self, your interiorization. And by interiorization is when we adapt the conditioning programming to realize that our desire can create and manifest our environmental world surrounding us. So take care when you project to the external world your wishes because it's very dangerous to be notable, and it's like contrasts some paradigm of what is being scientific or pseudoscientific. But the truth is there to demystify some of the warfare we may create inside of us, some struggling that we have by the unknown, by the ignorance, by the sins, and if we follow the truth, God prevails always. Alright? God prevails always. God is waiting us. Alright? It's just a question of developmental psychology and to strengthen our personality, to fix some ideas, to correct some ideas, the correctful of the ideas, the correctness is what makes you able to create new skills, to straightforward go ahead in pure bliss, in pure emotional intelligence, and to discover more about the differences of words of knowledge that we can encounter in life, and to get discernment of good and evil from each school of thought and choose what school of thought is better for us. I will end it up here. Thank you very much for listening, and I see you soon. Thank you very much. I hope you do not fall in the cave. I hope you do not fall in the wounded world of sense. Be trustfully attached in the real world, connected in the real world, and detached from the only world, the subconscious mind. I hope you have understanding some of this discourse, and you can be with liability to know more about the words of ideas that are some of them immutable, immutable, and some of them are just not fully comprehended, but even this can be useful to the scientific community. I also want to say that if we have some idealistic program running in your minds, it's your responsibility to correct the experimental effects and consequences of the concepts you were creating in your philosophy of life, in your experimental research of the subject, and being an agent of pure truth. The truth will set us free. Alright? I thank you again. I hope you have enjoyed it. Set a like and goodbye. I see you soon.